Hello, everybody, and welcome to the official Granblue Community League review show, where we'll be looking at what has transpired over the past couple of weeks. And I, myself, your host, Mike, Miguel, Rossington, whichever name you want to go by, I hear it, I dig it. I'm bringing on some special guests with me. These are people that are experts at the game, expert at understanding the knowledge of all situations and matchup that exceeds me by at least a billion. Whatever units of measurements you want to use. So without further ado, please let me introduce my guests, Ebonic Plague, Shuaboo, Gods and Legends. Thank you guys so much. Ebonic Plague was commentating with me not too long ago, and you guys should all be familiar with him. One of the legends in the commentary game and player as well, as I learned a little bit a while ago. We'll get into that a bit later. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm really, really happy to be here. And I guess I said it last time, just like you were talking about, you and I were on the mic earlier. Anytime we get to talk about Granblue is a good time, right?
That's why we out here. And also joining us today will be Shuaboo, the man who never leaves anything behind, including his combos. He also got third place at the NA West qualifier. Again, one of the heavy hitters here in North America for Granblue. Thank you so much for joining and being on with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mike. Really excited for this. I really like Granblue, so I love talking about it, love exposing it to different people. Yes. So excited for this.
And if you're watching this right now and you want to participate into this Granblue Community League tournament, please make sure you go visit this link, bit.ly/GBVS League, to see more information on the upcoming events. If it's going to fit into your schedule and whatnot, please sign up and be part of this tournament series now. For more information, go visit discord.gg/versusasia. All right, so joining us, we do have Ebonic Plague, and you are a commentating legend and icon in the community. You have been commentating for many, many years. And I just wanted to ask the name, where everybody has, what some people say, what's in a name? What is in the name Ebonic Plague? Where does it come from?
Yeah, well, I mean, it mostly comes from the heart, right? And the reason I say that is because, a while back I needed a new name for an online game, and one of my old handle was taken because I used to go by Yugo, and so I needed something. And I was like, what personifies me? What personifies me and the love for my culture, right? And so I came up with Ebonic Plague, and that's how it comes up.
I love it. Yeah. Makes sense. Like I said, tried to guess it, but I needed to hear it straight and direct. Very, very clean story. So nothing else in there. I love that.
No,
thank you, man.
Nothing else.
That's right. And Shuaboo, I have to ask as well. Where did the name Shuaboo come from? I do have my guesses.
Yeah. Well, Shu is my last name,
yes.
And I think the pretty common guess. I don't know if you thought this, but it's like a play on like weeaboo. But actually, it started as a play on peekaboo. So it's just like Shuaboo, like peekaboo.
So I had it right.
Yeah, but like over time, like being on the internet and playing video games, you just watch a lot of anime, get involved in like Japanese culture. So like I guess the weeaboo guess also fits now. So it's whatever you want it to be.
Oh wow! So Ebonic Plague, you're officially right.
No, but I was making a joke. I wasn't even trying to flex. Like at first I was joking. I was like, oh, it's a joke on peekaboo, haha. And then like, no, it's actually wow. That's it. Like,
wow, you have evolved. The final form is okay. It's weeaboo, but it was peekaboo.
Yeah,
I like that. But yeah, I figured out the shoe part, but that was it. That's the only thing I got. And after that, it was definitely a mystery to me. So now, let's talk a little bit about the game in Granblue and kind of your connection with it. I remember when this game hit, I know there was a lot of steam, a lot of people were playing it. It came out at a time when, we were in a little bit of a drought. And, up until this league, there have been some players that have, always continued, never stopped playing, and kind of, their work is being rewarded, it's being displayed. How long have you guys been participating or playing with the Granblue scene, and who is your main character? I'll start with you, Ebonic Plague.
Yeah. So, well, when it comes to versus, I've obviously been playing since before launch. Some of you guys have seen that I was running some of the stuff that happened before the game came out. I had the pleasure of speaking with Fukuhara-san himself, and actually getting bodied by him on stream because I had never played the game before, and he had he had played quite a bit of it. But yeah, so I mean, Fukuhara bodied me, and then the game eventually came out, and I didn't have the character I truly wanted to main at first. So I ended up playing Catalina, which was great because that character is super good for me. Footsie space character, super nice space control, like very straightforward. But then my girl came out, Narmaya, and then it was over. It was done from there, right? In the interim, though, one of the other characters I'm really big on is Beelzebub. So
Interesting variety there. And Shuaboo, what about you? Who is your? How long have you been playing? Have you taken any breaks since launch? And yeah, who's your main character?
Yeah, so I started with, I remember this, I think it was March 2020. It was the PC launch of Granblue versus. So I picked up the game there because I was always a fan of the IP before that, but I had heard about the fighting game, but I didn't have a PS4 or anything. So I started with the PC launch. I bounced around a bunch of characters. I played like Fairy, Saris, and then I guess I've like sort of made my name on like 6. So like right now I've been playing a lot of 6 and also playing a lot of Henri, who I think is really strong this patch. So I want to co-main him in this patch.
Okay. And in the times you've kind of stuck with it, you've never really taken many breaks from the game at all. You've just been actively grinding and switching out characters to see which one you like most.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've taken like mental breaks where I'm not like, focused on winning or grinding very hard, but I don't think I've gone longer than like honestly like 2 weeks without touching the game.
Okay. And with that grind, how did you approach entering the first NA West event? You got a chance to look at the bracket, see who else was in there. How confident were you entering that you would do as well as you did? And did you expect to win?
Yeah, I mean, so at the time I had been working on my Henri, so he's still like relatively a new character, but I've been playing him on and off for a while, and I'm still like very confident in him. I think he's really strong this patch. And so my goal entering it was more that I wanted a competitive experience with the character. So I didn't really enter to win. I just wanted to play at high level to level up the character.
Oh my goodness, dude! Look at this guy. It's like
But I did think I would win because
prepping for nationals, prepping for the big ones.
Right.
Come on,
this fool is sandbagging in tournaments.
I mean, the characters I was gonna fight, I was counter picking specifically for them, right? So like Cagliostro, Jita are characters that I think 6 has like a little bit of a rough time with. And I think Uno is strong against those characters. So I was definitely going in like, well, this is a counter pick for me. If I win, then yeah, it works. If I lose, then I get more time to play the character and get matchup experience. So,
Well, so Ebonic Plague, have to bounce this one to you because you've been more in tune with commentating events and such, and watching a lot of the players and how they've adapted throughout the game's lifespan. How would you say the overall feedback is for these recent events that we've been doing?
Yeah. So for the league itself,
and be real, we out here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I'll get to what I'm getting to, right?
Okay.
So for the league itself, people are very much about the fact that this is a community thing, right? Like it puts spotlight on the community. That's a very nice thing because a lot of people, they'll see a game, they're not 100% sure if people are doing anything, and they'll just write it off without like actually doing any sort of research, right? This is a great way to show that that's not the case. Like, that people are here, people have been playing this game, people have never stopped playing this game. We'll get into that later. But the league itself is very nice because it shows that there's support coming, right? Because we are later in the game's lifespan, and a lot of games have interesting life cycles these days. It's definitely not like back in the day, right? So because of that, it shows that something could be down the pipeline. Fukuhara talked about it at EVO, like, he's really happy with the reception for the game and everybody around it. And like the one unfortunate thing is it does have to take place online, just like everything else right now, because we are in the middle of a pandemic. And that's just the truth, is like, it could be a better situation in regards to that, but this is what we're working with. And at the very least we have this. And so people are happy about that.
Yeah, and would you say that that this game suffered any specific challenges during the pandemic? Did it benefit from the pandemic? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, it totally did have a suffering period, right? But there was some benefits on top of that. So I'll go with the suffering part first, I guess, and then we'll end on a high note, right?
Nice. Well done.
Yeah. So one of the really unfortunate parts is obviously a lot of people were into this game the second it came out, where everybody was on it, right? Like this was the game at first with all the offline events happening, and there was big exhibitions going on versus multiple like big names and people who were quote unquote new. They weren't actually new, but people didn't know them.
Right, I got you.
That kind of thing. And so everybody was into it until we couldn't go to very many offline events. It was not safe. It's still a little iffy right now to go to offline events. Please be careful out there, by the way, all of you. And so one of the things that this actually turned from a bad situation to what I consider to be a really good situation is that a large amount of the community stuck with the game through that thick and thin. And it fostered all these people that we had never, known to be strong at anything. We had never known them to just be around or anything like that, period, right? Shuaboo was somebody I had never heard of until Granblue, right? Now sitting right next to me.
Yeah.
So.
That's right. Yeah, sitting right there. Right next to you.
Right over here. Oh, my hand goes off.
Yeah. So yeah, you do like the fact that this game did bring about players who you may not have been following them before in other games, and now they come and they're heavy hitters. Some of the strongest players literally in the world right now, which is great. You always want to see that about these games, to bring out the best in people. And so Shuaboo, since you did just get high praise there from Ebonic Plague, you've now kind of splashed onto the Granblue scene as a threat. Do you have a potential player in mind that every time you see their name pop up in the bracket, you kind of get a little twitch in your eye, just somebody that you just say, oh, you know what, I keep running into them and I have to beat them. Is there a person in mind?
I mean.
Oh, I'm sorry. If everybody's easy, you can say that too.
No. There's definitely lots of hard players, but I mean, like the easy answer is like everyone wants to beat Zombie. For me, I think like maybe less so than other players, just because like he's like sort of like a mentor for me. So like for me, like it's a longer, like further along kind of process, but then like there's a lot of players that I think are like closer to my level that are really strong, that like maybe like started around the same time that I did. So like lost to a lot in the NA West qualifier, and then there's another player on like the East Coast, Searchlight or Buscar Luz, who like kind of started fighting games around the same time I did, or like started like taking them seriously around then. And like to me, these two are like probably the strongest like fundamental players at like closer to like my level, my generation, or whatever you would call it. So then like to me, like it's not like a rivalry. I don't know if they feel the same way. Maybe they think I'm just some kind of scrub. But like for me, it's like if I can like consistently beat them, then it means that either I'm getting like stronger fundamentally, or I found something like I found some unbeatable cheese, right? So both are good situations for me. So like that's sort of like a benchmark for myself.
So what do you think you had to do in order to kind of reach the skill level that you're at right now? And the reason why I ask this is because there are players that are going to be they're possibly watching this and they say, you know what, I think I'm going to give Granblue a shot. But there's always going to be somebody out there that's going to enter a new game and they want to reach that higher echelon of play like you have achieved. Do you have any advice or kind of suggestions for newer players that want to reach that high level?
Yeah, I mean, I think to kind of bring back the earlier point of the pandemic, I think one of the huge benefits of the pandemic is the shrinking of the scene and making it sort of tight knit. So the access to resources is a lot easier. Like I literally message Zombie Moo like 4 times a week, like we chat, hang out. When I was first starting out, like there were these like huge names. You probably know these guys like Edma, Wentinol. Like these dudes were literally like teaching me how to play footsies.
Oh,
so
man.
like and like that can only happen with a game like this, right? So like I think the big thing is just go in there, enter a lot of stuff, reach out to people and like talk to them.
Yeah.
Ask a lot of questions. I think that's the easiest way to get good.
I'm sorry for any of the verbal abuse Edmond might have put you through.
He's different now, isn't he?
No,
Just a little bit. No. Okay, all right. I was curious.
The last time I talked to him, he said because he had taken a long break, he hadn't played for a while. He said, "I'm never gonna pick the game back up again because last time I dumpstered you, and you can hold that forever."
All right, there we go. That's right. What I want. Yeah. I was gonna say that sounds on par.
Oh man, but it's all for love. It's all out of love. It's
definitely.
Love.
I learned a lot from all these players. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it looks like now what we're going to be doing is we're going to take a look at the EU West Grand Finals match between Fitizen and Saki. You both players being from Germany, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So since I have you guys as the experts here, you're going to be able to explain a little bit of kind of some of the thought process, some of the strategy behind, why Fitizen was able to come out on top and maybe what Saki could have done better, so that it doesn't fall into that trap again. All right, so here we go, everyone. We're going to be watching the Fitizen versus Saki Grand Finals. This was the European West First tournament that took place. I just want to ask, both of you, have either of you fought against these players by chance before?
Yeah, for me personally, no. I have not fought against either of these players, unfortunately. But maybe Shuaboo has done differently.
No, I haven't either. So neither of these players were some of the Europeans in attendance at EVO, so I didn't get a chance. I haven't had a chance to meet them or play them.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so I think generally, in this situation, Fitizen was probably the favorite to win, and also I think, to my understanding, this is a really lopsided matchup. Maybe one of the few 6-4s in the game. I think.
Okay.
In Percival's favor.
Mm. Yeah, okay. That kind of answered one of my next questions, actually, was just generally how does a matchup go? And do you think that this matchup has changed at all, since the patches, adding the shifting and the overdrives and such?
So I think it was already really Percival's favorite. I think it made it even worse for Charlotta just because the meter changes take the one difficult or weakness aspect of Percival, which is properly hit confirming, and makes it way easier by being able to confirm into rush and have better combo routing, always have access to stocks. And also backshift can also be helpful because I don't know if he uses it here, but it's something that can get out of Charlotte's sticky pressure, and then she has to get back in against Percival, which is really hard.
Yeah, and then the other aspects too is that you have overdrive this in its entirety, right? The offensive capabilities, Percival's already doing a lot of damage in certain situations, so he's now doing even more, and then he's adding chip damage on the just on pretty much everything now. And then on top of that, Charlotta is normally the character who's trying to chip you out in certain situations, and now she can no longer do that while overdrive's active, right? So
yeah, I know. Fitizen was just so on point. You don't want to get 3-0'd in the grand finals and make it that far, and then it's just come on, it's got to be something I could have done. But you mentioned it too. This player's hit confirms were absolutely ridiculous and always on point. Really hard to get around.
Yeah, and then right here, getting over the overdrive in particular, that's another option that Saki really needed to keep offensive momentum going. Ended up catching the command grab and getting a full conversion off it, which is really good. But when Fitizen, does read after read on that kind of situation, that's when it starts to get really bad because, he makes the comeback, he gets another command grab right here. You got a knockdown into what could potentially be an overdrive setup or just death, another command grab, there's just so many things Percival can do to you in this particular situation that you're just afraid of. Because if you try to jump out and he 2H's you as on an anti-air, you're dead. If you don't jump out, you take a command grab and live, but you still then have to deal with the mix-up right afterwards, right? And there it was. Universal overhead finishes it off. So that's the comeback factor. He's always on the table, regardless of how far behind he seems.
That was I remember that was the demoralizing moment because Saki had such a huge lead. Just almost one more hit would have done it. And then Fitizen changed it around. That one command grab changed the whole match.
Yeah, and with OD too, he didn't have it there, but with OD, this matchup becomes so scary because Percival is one of the characters that his throw game benefits from OD. He has the increased damage affects his combos since his throw combos. So he does like a lot of damage and chip too. So you can't just sit there and do nothing against him, but you also in this situation you can't get in because he outranges you and he can react to everything you do.
Well, that was a quick 3-0 from Fittison, and we did get a chance to speak with him after the tournament, and it is just good to kind of had a similar approach to the way you did, Shuaboo, where it's just like I just want to enter, we'll see what happens. Yes, I do believe that I can win, but everybody right now that's playing this game, everybody's strong, everybody's a killer. Anybody can take it at any given moment. What would you say? Were you impressed at all or surprised by Fittison's performance?
I mean, I think it was impressive, but I already know that he's a very, very strong player on a very, very strong character. So, like, if you had me look at everyone, I would, not to knock off any of the other players, but I would definitely, my eyes would probably be on him, on Saki too, but like Fittison's definitely like the player to look at over there, I think. It's such like the combination of the player and the character is just too strong.
So, with that said, there is some other stuff going around in the world of Granblue. Yes, if one of you would like to promote it, you guys have information on Zombie Moo's event happening?
So Zombie Moo is going to be running the South American Community Granblue Fantasy Versus Championship. So there's going to be 2 regional qualifiers with pot bonuses in prize pools, and the top 4 from each of the regions will play in a championship for a total prize pot as well. And so this is, to put the spotlight on the other side of the community that we do not get to see. And so Zombie wanted to make sure that they get that spotlight because, I mean, if you're unaware of the South American community, one of the big things is they're incredibly strong at a multitude of games, and they either can't always make it to something, or people just aren't paying attention when they really should be. And so this is a great way to get the knowledge in your headspace of how strong these players are and will be for Granblue Fantasy Versus. So the dates are going to be particularly the South America South qualifier is going to be September 11th at 8 p.m. GMT, which is Chile time. So it's like 5 p.m. West Coast. And South American North qualifier is September 17th, which is 9 p.m. Also at the same 9 p.m. Brazil time, but at the same time in Pacific Standard. So that's 5 p.m. as well. And then the finals, the big championship, is going to be taking place on October 1st at 8 p.m. Chile time, 9 p.m. Brazil time, which is again 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Excellent. And also, if you guys are out there and you guys are putting some stuff on for the Granblue community, please let us know so we can kind of spread the word as well. With that, is there anything else that you would like to add, Ebonic Plague, that you're looking forward to in this tournament? Any other big names that are going to be winning that we haven't seen enter yet?
Yeah, so up next for the North America side of things is what I'm going to talk about, because obviously I'm a big shill. Is the the East Coast side. We have some players that we haven't gotten to see just yet because we, have separated the regions. A couple of them that Shuaboo talked about previously, actually. Searchlight Buscar Luz is one that I'm really looking forward to. And an old head name that a lot of people who maybe checked out other games prior to Granblue's inception is Gandito, one of the strongest Granblue Fantasy Versus players for sure. But, that's not to count out a bunch of other people in East Coast. It's an incredibly strong region. And honestly, that's going to look like a bracket that I'm not 100% sure I could figure out who would take a W in, kind of thing. If all of the strong people enter, I'm hands off. Like I can't figure out who's winning that.
It's going to be a dice roll. Shuaboo, any suggestions? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, so the players mentioned, one clarification, Gandito is actually south and not
that's right. East. Yeah, for the regional split. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, because of Florida.
But if I'm not mistaken, I think Mexico is included in south. So I think hopefully a lot of like the Mexican players that have been taking a break will start grinding. There's some really strong players there. And another also not US would be I'm excited for a lot of the Canadian players. I know a lot of the Canadian players personally. A lot of them are really, really strong, and many of them, like the really like strong ones, the like hidden bosses, don't really enter or compete a lot. But they're interested in this, because it's a little bit more official. You get the skins, things like that. So kind of incentivize.
I think that pretty much kind of. Do you guys have any more closing thoughts on anything?
Just my big closing thought, of course, that I think is very important is that we do have more Granblue Fantasy versus Community League events coming up, and you guys can sign up for those by going to bit.ly/GBVS League to check out more info to see which one region that you're able to enter. Because, I got my regions mixed up a second ago, but, you don't have to get mixed up. You can check out the rules thoroughly, and you can sign up for the correct region, and you can get your skins for free, right? All you got to do is participate.
That's right.
Or, you can just body everybody and then get way more than just a skin, right?
Right. The choice really just comes down to you as the player. This is what you want. You want to, if you do want to get the skins, though, make sure you do sign up. And again, all of the regions are open for registration right now. So, as Ebonic Plague said, go to bit.ly/GBVS League for more information. Thank you guys so much for joining and being part and sharing your infinite wisdom on Granblue and such. I hope to see you still competing some more, Shuaboo and Ebonic Plague. I know I will be seeing you and hearing you on the mic as well. So thank you guys so much. Where can more people find information on you guys? Ebonic Plague?
Yeah, well, you can check out right below me right there. I got a Twitter handle. It's the Ebonic Plague BB right there. Twitter is not the worst place to be able to check me out. So you can do so if you would like to follow. I'm not pushing anybody, but of course, that's where you can find me.
And Shuaboo for you?
Yeah, similarly right here, at Shuaboo. Maybe not as exciting content as Ebonic Plague, but I am followed by Ebonic Plague, so
I'm followed by Shuaboo, so
a very cool Twitter account, I hear. He can vouch for me.
All right, well, thank you guys so much, and thank you everybody that was able to check this out. We will be seeing you again very soon. Don't forget to follow all of the associated accounts to find out more information on when the next matches will be happening, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.